What's up, y'all? Welcome to Conversation Piece with Patrick Armstrong. I am the titular Patrick, and this is a show where we talk about the missing pieces of the conversations we're already having. Shout out to our returning listeners, and a high five and hello to everybody joining us for the very first time. I appreciate y'all being here in 2024, the year of the nap. I'm very excited about my guest today. My guest today is just a caffeinated, sleepy lady figuring out life and trying to do some good in the world. She is also the Director of Education and Community Engagement at the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra. She also loves creating fun educational games for her students, binge watching Netflix, eating all the sweets, and reading outside where the sunshine is. Without further ado, it is my honor and privilege to welcome my friend, Nicha Stapanukul, to the show. Nicha, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for writing that incredible bio line that I could take from your Instagram. I actually had a much longer intro for you that I took from your website. But I was like, you know what? Let's cut it down a little bit. Let's get into it in a fun way. So
I like the fun bio.
Awesome. I like the fun bio too. What are you binge watching right now?
Currently binge watching Lucifer.
Okay.
Yeah, just rewatching, really.
Rewatching?
Yeah.
How many times is this rewatch?
This is the third time.
Third time?
Yeah.
What do you like about Lucifer? I have not watched it, but I followed very closely the campaign to get it renewed on Netflix after it got canceled on Fox.
Honestly, it's just really funny. It's just really funny, and the actor is just really attractive.
Okay. Funny and attractive actors. Are those your two criteria for shows?
Honestly, yeah. Good
Okay.
plot.
Good plot. That's always good.
And like something that I can keep on the background and not really pay attention to while I'm doing something else.
Is that your go-to binge, or do you have something else?
Go-to binge would be Friends.
Friends.
Yeah.
Which friend are you?
Ooh. I'm a mix between Monica and Rachel, I feel like.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit?
I feel like I'm that like organizational like friend, but also kind of like La La Land friend too. Like I can be both.
Sure.
I can be both.
You have your moments where you enter into one or the other.
I have like personalities.
I like multiple personalities.
Multiple personalities.
All right,
It
great.
comes out at times.
We're going to get into that. All right, but before we do that, I gave a little bit of an intro for you, but for people listening or watching who may not know who you are, do you mind sharing just a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So I'm the Director of Education and Community Engagement at the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra. What that means is basically I do everything education related for the symphony. So education concerts, I write the programs, I do the scripts, I work with the conductors and musicians on like community concerts, our outreach efforts, our youth orchestras, all the things. Yeah. And every day looks very, very different. And I am very into creative programming and inclusive programming. So I'm all about that.
Okay. Okay, you say every day looks a little bit different. What does a typical day for you look like?
Ooh, I don't know if there's a typical day.
Is there any consistencies in your schedule that you try to make sure like, okay, I got to get coffee or I have this meeting, whatever that might be?
Obviously there are some like standing meetings, like with my team and my one-on-ones and stuff like that, check-ins. But some days I'm out in the community learning about what they are doing, what certain organizations are doing, what events are happening in the city. Some days I am really just at my desk answering emails and it's kind of boring. Some days I am doing more research online and writing the programs itself. And some days I'm like painting things.
Painting?
And doing arts and crafts on our floor. And like making the event actually come to life.
Okay,
so,
I was going to ask if that's like, if the creation is part of like the educational side, or if it's like, I got to set up the symphony to look the way we need it to look.
No, it's all the things.
Yeah.
It's all the above, right? Like if I have an idea, it's from ideation to execution and collaborating with all the parties.
I like it. And then you have students that come in that help you with that too.
Well, we have our team and we have volunteers that help.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I love what y'all are doing over there. You yourself are an accomplished musician, a pianist. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that journey for you and how that bridges into being at the symphony.
Sure. Well, I started playing piano since I was 4, and I'm originally from Thailand. I studied piano and did my first competition at age 10, and I guess have decided at age 10 that I was going to make music my career.
I like it.
At age 10. And I was like gung-ho about it, and gung-ho about it enough that my parents were like, okay, you're going to graduate high school early and you're going to go to this arts boarding school in America and to really figure out if you like do really love this.
Sure.
Because if you don't, then you can change your career and you're still like on track with your classmates.
Early enough to pursue this, and then if you need to pivot, you can pivot.
Exactly. So I did the IGCSE, which is like the British equivalent of the GED, when I was 14. Graduated high school when I was 15 or 14 or 15, somewhere around there.
Just the normal time to graduate high school.
It's been a long time. Went to an arts boarding school called Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan. Moved here by myself, cried for a good 2 months. And then my musical journey sort of started from there.
Sure.
And I kind of just stuck with it. And my mom was like, oh, okay, we're going with this.
So they're like, let's put you through your paces just to make sure you like it. Yeah. And then when they realized you did, this was what you were going to do, they were like, okay, now we have to pivot and make sure that we're supporting you doing that.
Yeah, well, they've always been supportive.
Right.
I think deep down, my mom really wants me to be a lawyer still. I really still is convinced that she wants me to be a lawyer, but she is still really, really supportive from day one.
I love it.
Really supportive.
I mean, I think, I'm adopted, so I don't know this, but I feel like from all my just Asian American friends, it's like Asian parents want you to be lawyer, doctor, engineer. And she's still holding on to that lawyer thread a little bit.
I think it's more the job security, and it's always been the job security. When, the idea of success in the music field growing up was very narrow.
Sure.
Right? Growing up in my time, the idea of success was basically you're either a concert pianist or you're a failure.
Gotcha.
That was it.
It's all or nothing, essentially.
Right, exactly. It was 0 or 100. And there was nothing in between. There was no arts administration. There was no chamber musician. There was no collaborating with other people. It was basically you're famous or you're not.
You're one of one or you're none. You're nothing.
Right, exactly. Okay. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to practice 1,000 hours. I'm going to be a concert pianist. And then at some point, that doesn't happen for everyone, right?
Sure.
And at some point, the realization hits you that oh, that's not going to happen for me.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure something out for yourself.
Sure.
Right? But they don't teach you that in school either.
Right.
School is sort of a boyfriend who strings you along. You know what I mean?
School is like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where at least that's how I feel in the music world, where they're you can do it.
I get it. It's not really based in reality, but they're pushing everyone there because for them, they'll pick the person who is, that one of one.
It's oh, maybe you can do it. Maybe you can, maybe this can happen for us.
Did you realize that was going on when you were going through that schooling process?
I feel like I knew that it wasn't going to happen for me during my bachelor's.
Okay.
But I still wanted to pursue it in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
So I did my master's. So I went to, I did my bachelor's at Peabody Conservatory, which is attached to Johns Hopkins University. And then after that, I was like, oh, let me just continue this and see where I can go with this.
Sure.
And so I did my master's. And then it wasn't until my doctorate where I was like, oh, like I really need to be able to find a job.
Sure.
After this. Like it wasn't even in my head that I needed to find a job.
Because you were still like performing and that was still the goal.
Like you have the security of being in school,
right?
Right? You didn't have to think about survival.
Right.
Or like, at least in the music field, like I was on scholarship. And so I didn't have to think about financial stability.
Sure.
Until my doctorate, which I understand that is a massive privilege.
Yeah.
That not everyone has.
Sure.
But yeah, during my doctorate, I was like, okay, this is my last degree. What can I do with it? And so that's why I decided to minor in arts administration, collaborative piano, and music education, all while working like 5 different jobs. Because I was like, okay, last degree, what can I do? What can I get out of this?
Yeah. Well, it's going from the, like you said, the comfort of not having to think about like surviving to I have to make sure my survival is set up when I'm out of here in the next year.
And I remember very distinctly during my first year of my doctorate, having a conversation with my mom, and she was really worried, like, are you sure, like, this is the path? Like, are you going to have a job after this?
You can go to law school still.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can still pivot.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay, you know? And I was like, no, like, I can still do this. Like, obviously, like, it's that, like, Asian, like, resilience, too. It's like,
sure.
But it's also kind of like, you tell me no, I'm going to show you that I can do it. You know, it's sort of that too.
Like proving your worth. Like we have to like show people.
But it's also like
that we can do
I
that.
spent 6 years of higher education in this field already. Like it's not all for nothing.
Right.
Like,
well, you have a doctorate now.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, and I would be like, hey, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a doctor.
Right.
Of music. Is that good? Does that work?
Right. So like, yes, I have a doctorate now. And like I get to do what I love.
Yeah.
And I think now she's like, okay, you have a job. Do you love it?
Yeah.
Do you still like what you're doing? She asks me like occasionally, she'll be like, okay, but do you still love what you're doing? And I'll be like, yeah. She goes, okay, well, you know, like when you don't anymore, you can still do other things, you know?
When you don't anymore, like when the inevitable comes and you're ready to quit. Like there are other things out here for you, like law school.
I think that's just normal.
No, for sure.
That's just every parent.
I think our parents
you know?
want the best for us.
Yeah.
And especially
while being supportive.
Exactly. Because I don't want to be like, well, I was the one that killed your dream.
Right.
But
yeah.
I always supported you. I just knew best for what you wanted to do. But I mean, I think it's awesome that they did support you. Are your parents still
definitely not every Asian kid had this kind of support.
100% not. Like it's, again, a one-track mind, because we've talked about this a little bit on the show before. For immigrants, it is a method of survival to have the highest paying job that has the benefits, that has everything that can get you out of maybe the inner city for however you want to talk about it.
Certainly, my field was not a method of survival.
Sure.
I don't think I would have been like the golden child.
Sure. Yeah.
Or like the golden example of an immigrant kid who like moved to the United States and like lived the American dream.
Sure.
Not really. I basically like chose what I wanted to do instead of like what made most sense.
Sure. But you approached it with like a dogged sense of pursuit of wanting to like achieve this, which I think is similar to some immigrant experiences in the sense that I have to do this in terms of like proof. And maybe it's not to your family or your parents, but just to the community at large, your classmates, whoever it might be. It's like, I got to prove that I'm doing this for me and this is why. This is why I'm here and putting this work in. Are your parents still in Thailand?
Yep. Everyone is still in Thailand.
Okay.
I'm the only person here.
So you shared, like, you came here by yourself. You're pretty young at this point, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you graduated high school at 7, is that what you said? No, I'm just kidding. At 15, come to the States to, like, pursue music, this thing that you really want to do. And the first 2 months were pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing a little bit of, like, what that transition was like, and then how you transitioned from those first 2 months into, like, finding a comfort or a groove?
It was more like, oh my God, I have to do things for myself for the first time ever.
Okay.
Like, I'm an only child. So in an Asian household, when, like, you're an only child, your parents tend to baby you a little bit. And my mom isn't a single mom. So it was always just me and my mom.
Yeah.
And so my mom has always done everything for me. Like laundry, cleaning the house. She was like superwoman to me.
Yeah.
I never was once late to anything. Like, amazing. Magic. Like, I want to be her. Like, but yeah, when I moved here, I was like, oh my God, how does a laundry machine work? How does a vacuum cleaner work? Like, how do I do all these things by myself? And it was just like a overwhelming sense of like, oh my God, responsibilities.
Sure.
I have to do all this. But it was also like, I don't think it was anything related to like my identity at all.
Okay. So it wasn't like a big culture shock. It was
Not-
more just like, I'm a young person who's
Not at
never had to
all.
do adult things.
And I will say it's not at all that because of how I grew up in Thailand.
Okay.
I went to an international school
Gotcha. All right.
since I was 5. So since like my first grade, I went to an international school. And so I've always spoken English. I've always had international friends. I was always surrounded by like diverse people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't even like blink an eye.
Sure. That was
It
just,
was just like
that was your experience. It
I was
your
just
life.
like in a different country.
Yeah.
Right? And I just had to speak English a little bit more often.
Yeah. Well, and through your, like, even playing at a young age, you were traveling too. Like, right? Or was that
Yeah,
the schooling that took you to a different place like London and stuff?
Well, I won a competition and I went to London to perform.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just like a more adaptable, like adapting experience for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was young enough where when I was auditioning for college, they had to give me like the sticker for the airlines because I was too young to travel by myself. So they had like a special sticker back then where all the flight attendant had to accompany me.
Wow. That's like, you're kind of like VIP at that point.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm so young, I'm so good at this. Like,
Yeah.
this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I got my own people escorting me.
Yeah.
So not really like a sense of culture shock. When did you get from like Johns Hopkins out east, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When did you get to Indiana? Like is that where you did your doctorate? At Bloomington?
I did my master's and doctorate
Okay.
at Indiana University.
What was it like coming from the East Coast after having been in Thailand before to then ending up in the Midwest?
So I went from East Coast to West Coast to LA for a year, which was very similar.
Classic Asian America traveling.
Yeah.
Coast, nowhere in between.
Yeah. So I lived in LA for a year. It was like major city, like terrible for studying.
Sure.
Amazing for like living.
Yep. Stretch is from LA. He knows what it is.
Every day I was like, what restaurant should I try next? Where should I go next? Like, it was never about like, oh, I need to study for XYZ, right?
Sure. Well, and you're here by yourself too. Yeah. It's like I got the time and the freedom to do it.
I think that was like the year that I practiced the least. Sorry.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, everyone who like is listening and had a stake in my education. No, but after that, my teacher got a job at IU.
Okay.
And was like, hey, do you want to come here with me? Since it's very common in the music world for someone to like follow a teacher or like want to go to a specific school to study with a specific teacher.
Gotcha.
And so I basically went to LA to study with Norman Krieger, my teacher.
Okay.
And if he wasn't there, why would I stay in LA, right?
Right.
So I came here with him, came to Indiana with him.
Okay.
And even when I lived in Bloomington for 5-6 years or however long I was there, it wasn't even a culture shock because it was like a college town.
Sure.
Right?
So
and
all the partying you were doing in LA, it just was now you're doing it in...
Right, with like mediocre food.
Mediocre food. Yeah,
in Bloomington. In Bloomington.
Oh, okay, sure.
Like from LA to Bloomington, it's a huge difference.
Big difference. Yeah.
And then I got used to it. But like people-wise, definitely like it was like the same experience.
Sure.
Very similar experience because like music school is pretty diverse.
Yeah.
Like at least Asian community wise.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty diverse. It wasn't until I moved to Indianapolis, which was I think 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
That was when it really hit me.
Okay, so did you come
to
Indy?
That was my first real culture shock.
Was that so you came to Indy for the symphony, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So
yeah. After my doctorate.
So you had the job. What was the cultural shock to you at that moment?
So it was before I had the job, I had a different job. But,
okay.
Yeah, but I basically moved up here after the pandemic, after I graduated. But it was more like going into every space and then realizing that you're the only Asian and having no one to relate to or like looking around the room and then seeing like, oh, I don't have anyone I gravitate towards or having anyone who might even have a similar shared experience. It's that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And then, but at first I wasn't able to pinpoint it because that was the first time that I ever experienced it.
I was going to ask if that felt like if you immediately realized like what was going on, or it was like a kind of a creeping back, like back of the mind.
Not at all. It like took a couple years.
Okay.
Like it took years to realize.
So it's like you're kind of reckoning with this right now. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm only now starting to like actually be aware and be able to like identify my feelings and identify those thoughts out loud, right? Back then, I was kind of just like feeling kind of lost and sad and not really like knowing why. It was kind of like, I'm not really like feeling like I belong here, but I don't really know why.
Sure. Just something seemed off.
It's like a little off.
So when did you first realize that the identity piece or like the community piece was what was causing some of this loss and sadness?
I started at the symphony and we do, or at least in my department, we do diversity training with Child's Advocates.
Okay.
They are a great company, by the way. Yeah, and I did this two-day workshop, and it just got me thinking on a whole lot of things, like how your regular lived experience affects you as who you are, and it just all these like prompts just sort of made these thoughts come back and these experiences from like years before sort of come back. And then I was able to like look at them in a different perspective.
Sure.
And then from then on, I was able to sort of identify why I was feeling the way I was feeling.
Were those experiences from when you first moved to Indy or even experiences that you started to reflect on prior? to that?
No, I don't. I think it was when I moved to Indy.
Okay.
Because like I was in a bubble,
Yeah.
right? Like I was in a school bubble.
Yeah.
Like
right.
when you're
like you
in
said, you still have diverse, even diverse Asian community around you.
It was a school bubble where you're around people who care about the same thing that you care about. People who look like you, that are talking the way you talk, talking about the things that you are talking about.
Sure.
You know, like caring about the same music that you care about. And it was never it relates to my work now too, like working with diverse communities. And like, how do you define community? Like, who is your community, right? Is your community the people who already understand you? Or is your community the actual community who make up the city that you are trying to serve, right? That is part of my work.
Yeah.
And like part of my work is identifying the language to speak to the right audience too. Like, how do you speak about classical music to the right community? Like, using the right language to appeal to the community.
Are you trying to appeal to the broader community then? That's something I wanted to dive into, is just like navigating specifically classical music, the idea, because I feel like
let's do it.
When I think about classical music, I tend to think about like almost in an elite sense. Like you almost have to be on a certain level to really engage.
Very common.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So like is that so I think what's really interesting about your position as in community engagement, I think, how do you engage community for this particular genre of music when I feel like for the most part and historically, the community that is made or built for this type of, or for this genre is old and white?
It's very interesting because the community that the music was written for wasn't elitist. Like wasn't originally elitist. It literally was just for anyone and everyone. It was like, I don't understand why suddenly we're saying like, no, you can't come in here because you don't understand this music.
Right. When did it get exclusive, essentially?
Yeah. I think there is classical music for everyone. There is just an entry point that needs to be identified for specific people. And each entry point for each people is not going to be the same.
Right.
Right? Like with you, I like brought you to the symphony.
Yeah.
For like a very specific concert that I thought that you would enjoy.
Loved it.
Right? Like that specific concert might not be enjoyable for another type of person.
Sure.
You know, it's not for everyone, but you just got to know, you have to be able to identify what would be relatable to X person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Like, not every classical music is going to be for everyone.
Right.
But there is classical music for everyone.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
100% makes sense.
Okay.
So how do you create or identify the entry points for different communities? And you can just give like one example so you don't have to like go through a bunch, but just like, how do you, since they are all different, like you obviously have to do the research, you have to do the actual engagement, get out in the community to kind of find it, but how do you even identify it to begin with?
I would say conversations.
Great. Yeah.
Having conversations is like the low-hanging fruit, right?
Sure.
Like the more conversations you have, the more you understand the community and the people you are really trying to serve, what they really want to hear, what they are interested in, how you can connect what they are already interested in with what you're trying to serve them, right?
Yep.
Like you don't, and we hear this in our field all the time, like, oh, well, we don't want to give up our excellence, our artistic excellence. I'm not saying that. And from my position, I'm not saying that community engagement means giving up artistic excellence.
Right.
You can do both.
Right.
You can shift your perspective and hold people and still hold your standards.
Yeah.
It just means you are thinking outside the box instead of like just saying, hey, we are great. You need to come into our box and appreciate our art.
Yeah.
Why should they care if you don't give them something to care about?
Yeah.
Right? If you say like, hey, this, like it's like sports. I don't care about sports at all. Like, I'm sorry to everyone in this room.
The first guest on this podcast who does not care about sports, I think. No, I love it. Keep going.
I love watching sports.
Oh, okay. Well, that's basically the same thing.
I don't follow sports,
Yeah.
you know? But if you tell me something about the players, or like what they care about, I'll start caring.
Sure.
You know?
Because you get to know them at a more human level than just like, oh, that's a Pacers guy.
I don't care how many points they scored. I'm not going to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Just like how normal people, like our community, isn't going to care how many symphonies Shostakovich composed. Why should they care?
Right.
But what they should care is how this symphony will make them feel. Right? What experience is this concert going to give them if they come?
Right.
Like Beethoven 9 is the most revelating piece of music ever. Why? Tell the people why they should come.
Right.
Right?
And it'll be different it'll affect people differently, impact them differently.
Yeah.
But that one piece of music can have that impact on everybody if they're willing or have the entry point to get. I love this conversation. I love this, what you're implementing, this mindset into the symphony, because I think this is something that I've been trying to talk about a lot over the last couple of years, specifically after the last Butter Art Fair. Shout out to Butter. I heard Mariah Ivy, shout out to Mariah Ivy, talk about how organizations or companies a lot of times will be about community, but they don't go into the community and ask, what do you need? How do we serve you? They'll create something and then they'll say, this is for the community. And the community comes, they go, well, we don't need that. And then the organization ends up shaming the community for not accepting this gift of charity or whatever it might be.
Well, it's the same conversation of DEI, right? It's like, we want to write this on our webpage that we have a DEI statement and that we care about DEI. Therefore, we're going to create a program specifically to check a box for DEIB. But like, doesn't that just defeat the purpose of DEIB?
Right. Well, it's all performance.
Right. It's
because as long as they have it,
if you are checking a box, then that means you don't understand what DEI is.
Right.
Like, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
It's a culture. If you are not seeing everything that you do through a DEIB lens, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing it right. And
I like the passion. Yeah. How do you navigate conversations with folks in classical music and your role at the symphony who push back on this idea of community and creating accessible entry points for different parts of communities and different communities?
Explaining it in various different ways.
You got a number of different elevator pitches for people that need them.
Basically, depending on who I'm talking to and depending on how many times I've told them, the language will change depending on increasing levels of on intensity and urgency.
Sure. Well, it's like you said, you've like developed the language over the last couple of years of like being able to now have this conversation. And it's like for some people, they're not even at square one. They're in the 1940s. And so the language of the present is not going to impact them in the same way.
Right.
In the same way that an entry point for one community is not going to be the same for another.
Yeah. And it's a conversation that is nationally being had throughout across orchestras, right? It's like, how do we go out into the community and be community-minded while holding our standards and serving our current donors and current patrons and not like making them angry and
it's a fine line to walk,
right? Yeah. You can do both.
Yeah. I think you have to do both.
You can absolutely do both. But it's also, it's not just a mindset shift on the programming side or the staff side. I think it's an everyone mindset shift, including the musicians. It's like when we are going out in the community, how flexible are you willing to be? How flexible are you willing to be in your repertoire choice? Maybe you won't be playing the world's greatest work, but maybe you'll be playing a more accessible piece of music because you want to appeal to the masses, right? Like, you probably won't be playing like Messiaen Quartet for the End of Time if you know what that piece is. It's extremely long and it's beautiful. It's a really deep thought kind of piece, but it's not, I wouldn't categorize it as like a first entry point kind of piece, you know?
Yeah. That makes me think about something that former guest Murdoch said in his interview. He gave a metaphor about how we went from not being allowed access to water to, specifically for Black people, but especially for marginalized or all marginalized communities, not being allowed access to water to getting a drip of water to drowning. So it's like you go from literally 0 to 100, and that it's really unhealthy to do so. And so from your perspective of like, I'm not going to play the most complex piece of classical music for a community that has never had any engagement with classical music before, because it's not going to impact them in the way that it could.
Yeah. And like, this goes for kids too. Like this, I think about this a lot because I do kids programming and education programming. You want kids to come back, right? You want it to be impressionable in a good way. Right. You don't want kids to leave our concert hall and be like, oh, what is that place? Like, so elitist. Like, oh, that place was so fancy. I never want to come back ever again. Right. Like, that place isn't for me. You know, like, I don't want kids to leave and have that reaction. I want kids to leave and like 10 years from now be like, oh my God, remember that field trip?
Right.
That I took in 3rd grade? Like, that was so cool. Let's go back there. Yeah. Like, I wonder what the symphony is up to. You know, like, that's why I do creative programming. Like, that's why I bring in people like Samson to narrate our concerts. Shout out to Samson.
Shout out Samson. I was just about to bring him up next. Yeah.
Like, I want kids to see that not just musicians belong on our stage. Narrators, performers, everyone belongs on our stage. Our stage is inclusive. Like, and that even a step is still a step.
100%.
Like, I'm not fixing the entire system, right? Like, but I'm making a step. It's progress.
100%. My favorite metaphor, or one of my favorite metaphors right now, is like, if we could, I think as a country, we do a lot of 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Oh yeah,
it's the illusion of progress, but we're really not moving in the direction that's forward. But if we could even just flip it to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, we're still making a little bit of progress. And at the end of the day, one person is not going to change the entire system. They can be a galvanizer for sure, but even one person galvanizing a bunch of people isn't doing it alone.
Yeah.
Like, the work is always community-based. It's always going to take a village, for lack of a better term, to change systems and create other systems that actually benefit the community and the people as opposed to the few.
Oh, yeah.
What has... So, I think another interesting intersection here is leading this charge as an Asian woman specifically. When I think of classical music from an Asian standpoint, it's also pretty male dominated. I couldn't name names, but when I think about who I've seen perform or who I see talk about it, it's 95% male. And you're out here not only as somebody who has performed at a high level, but you're leading the charge to change in a lot of ways for Indianapolis specifically and how they're doing it. Are you trying, because you said, you're going through the last few years of just like really understanding the identity piece. How are you navigating both of those things as they work simultaneously? How do you navigate the two? Do you put one on the back burner and then other takes precedence? Is it a priority shifting thing, or is it something that you can kind of interweave as you're moving along?
I feel like, so because I do a lot of different things, like I'm a performer, I teach, and I am also in this leadership role, some things always got to take the back burner.
Sure.
Right? Like I can't always prioritize everything. So currently I'm not really focusing on performing so much. And I don't think the identity piece was really connected to my performance.
Sure.
No, I don't think so. Now you're really making me think.
Hey, that's what we do. We dig
now
down.
You're really making
we
me
dig
think.
down below the surface.
Like growing up in Thailand, I grew up around female pianists. Like my teacher was a female pianist who was like a leading pianist in Thailand. So like I looked up to her. She was my mentor. I never thought that like it was any different or it was like difficult to be one.
Right.
Like,
because that was like your lived experience.
Right,
was.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that wasn't like something that I really thought about much. But as like a leader, I really had to learn to speak up when I came into this role or like in a more leadership role.
Sure.
Because as an advocate for the arts, like you would think that I'm naturally like an extrovert, right? Or a community connector. Like I would naturally be an extrovert and love talking and do things like this all the time. No, I'm not. Like
you're an introvert that plays extroverted when you need to.
Yeah, I'm a huge introvert. Like if I could choose, I would be at home.
You would not be on mic
chilling.
Right now.
No, I would hang out with you anytime.
Oh, thank you.
But I would prefer to hang out with my dog.
Wait, you prefer your dog over me? No, I'm just kidding.
She's pretty cute.
You do have a cute dog.
Yeah, but like I'm not super talkative. I don't talk about like if I were to meet new people, I'm not like the most talkative person.
Sure.
But put me in a room and talk about things that I'm passionate about, and I will talk your ear off.
Our very first like long conversation was that exactly.
And well, yes, we literally like stayed at Pattern for 3 hours?
Yeah, longer than I was supposed to stay there to have this conversation.
Yeah, and also like that is part of my Asian nature that I definitely was not taught to do.
Sure.
It was definitely against my nature.
Yeah.
Like when I told my mom that, like this is part of the job, like I'm advocating for these issues and talking about all this like difficult things and navigating XYZ, right? Her immediate response was like, oh, like you shouldn't say all those things. Like you should just like keep quiet and like not create any conflict. I understand. Like that is basically like the whole culture of Asian culture, right? Like,
well, so it's like the model minority myth specifically to us here in America. Yeah.
But it's also like, don't talk back to elders, right? Like I've always, at the back of my head, that is always running. Like, oh, I'm not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
But in recent years, I'm sort of more like, oh, but that's wrong.
Right.
Oh, but I'm supposed to speak up about this. Oh, but I can speak up about this. Oh, I'm in a position to tell you, like, and to call you in about issues and to make this a teachable moment. And I can do that. So I will do that.
Mm.
And so, like, it's been a learning curve for me.
It's always a learning curve for everybody because it requires us to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But not just uncomfortable with, oh, I'm an introvert, I have to be extroverted, but the idea of I can call people in on these things,
Yeah.
especially if I'm passionate about it or especially if it goes against kind of where I stand.
Yeah. It presents some problems, though.
100%.
Being, like, the only two Asian people, one of the only two Asian people on staff currently, it presents some problems, I would say. People have preconceived notions about how I'm supposed to react, how I'm supposed to speak. They have their own unconscious biases against me, which their problem.
Right.
Not really
Not
mine.
yours.
Like,
No.
but I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
You know, like people, like literally this week, someone was telling me like, oh, you know, like I can't really think of any other like Asian musicians that would be willing to like stand up in front of an audience to like narrate, other than like this other person and you. And I'm like, why? Because I act like an Asian American? That I'm outspoken? That I'm not just shy and quiet like all the other Asian musicians? But also, why are you assuming?
Right.
But like that took me like a day to realize.
Sure. Well, see, and that's the thing too, is like in those moments.
And like I can't really like respond because
you have stakeholders that you're like, you know, that you are beholden to,
right?
You know, with the symphony, and sometimes it's like you have to. It's like, am I willing to go? Not maybe cross the line, but push the line with this person. And how is that going to impact not just me, but the people that work for me and the people around me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this field, you hear out-of-pocket shit all the time.
All the time.
All the time. We play at a retirement home and like this woman came up to me and was just like, oh, where are you from? Are you from China? And I'm like, no, I'm from Thailand. And she goes, oh, whatever. It's the same thing. And she like walks away and I was too stunned to speak. Like, what do you even say to that?
I mean, the fact that she just walked away right after saying it is probably the most Indiana old person thing I've ever heard. Because it's like, I've experienced that where I grew up. And it's like, you would just say an out-of-pocket thing.
Right.
And then they would just leave. Like, it was just fine. And I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, but like, shit like that happens all the time where like, I get so desensitized to it where it makes me think like, how long has this been happening? And I didn't realize.
Right. It makes you start thinking about those first few years and the experiences that you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, maybe I just blocked it out because I do block out a lot of things.
Sure. Hey, sometimes, I mean, how you navigate it is the right way for you. I think that's something that we can lose in a lot of conversations around, well, what does it mean to be Asian, or what does it mean to navigate this identity or be a part of the community? It's like, well, everybody's got their own journey, and they are one thread of the larger fabric of said community. Doesn't mean they're not enough or they don't belong. It just means this is that experience. And if we don't have a conversation about it, we'd never know. We never know that's what you went through. That is also the Asian American experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, have you been able to, in the recent weeks, months, year, since you started going on this kind of identity journey or added that to the journey you've been on, build or find community within the Asian diaspora here?
I am doing, I need to do better. And you're helping me. I am not a very outgoing person. So, like, it's hard for me to put myself out there when it's not, like, for work.
Sure.
You know, like, when I go out to events, it's mostly for work. Or, like, I want to do something for fun with my significant other.
Yeah.
And, like, it turns into work or something. You know, it's not really, like, I'm going to go out solo.
Yeah.
For the sole purpose of meeting other Asian people. Like, it's never that. And I need to be better about it.
Well, I mean, sometimes when it's like, okay, I'm going to go out and meet other Asian people, unless it's like an Asian-specific event, it feels like it's not the right move.
And also, like, I just feel like making friends as an adult is just tough.
My wife and I talk about this all the time, how difficult it is sometimes to make friends as adults.
Like, all my friends are all over the country and all over the world. And I don't get to see them that often. And so, like, I don't really have friends in Indiana.
Well, we're going to change that.
Aww.
And we're building a community right now for your friends outside of the state to come and hang out and see what's going on in the net. 100%. Well, Nicha, I appreciate everything you shared so far. Lots of knowledge, but especially just diving into the context of your backstory. I appreciate you sharing all of that. As we kind of start to wind down here, I always look at the clock and I'm like, oh, that says 50 minutes. So we've been sitting here for a while. I just got a couple more questions. See, and you also shifted in the chair to be when we got more into that conversation. So, but I just have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
You talked about a couple mentors. You talked about a few people that have that you either looked up to or kind of helped through the transition of all the different transitions that you made since you came here. We have a new segment on the show called Give 'Em Your Flowers. And it is sponsored by Madeline McKinnon and Frida's Flowers, where guests take a moment to give someone or something their well-deserved flowers. So I want to ask you, do you have anybody that you'd like to give their flowers to today?
I want to give some flowers to my colleague, Crystal Ford. If you don't know who Crystal Ford is, she is a badass.
Yep.
And she is the director of the Metropolitan Youth Orchestra, and she does not get enough credit for all the shit that she does. She is just an incredible woman, and I learn from her every day, and I'm so lucky to call her my colleague.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crystal Ford, shout out to you for all the amazing things that you do. One day, the people who get shouted out on here will also receive flowers from Frida's. But for right now, we're just going to give you these digital flowers, but I appreciate you sharing that. Shout out to Madeline and Frida's for sponsoring this segment. Frida's Flowers providing bold, powerful floral experiences that are sure to make a mark on your spirit. As we wrap up here, what advice do you have for young folks trying to find their way into the classical music scene specifically?
Be you. Think out of the box. You are just push the envelope forward and contribute to the art in a way that is productive. You know what's best, already, from the education, from the conversations that are being had, the conversations that are being had currently in today's age, were not being had when I was in school.
Sure.
Conversations about gender, about race, about equity, about equality. None of that was being had. Put all that knowledge into programming, into your repertoire, your writing, your performance, all of that. And it will just make the world better.
I love it.
Yeah.
Be you, contribute authentically to the craft, and we'll see you. We'll see you on the other side of it. Last question.
Okay.
How do people listening, how do people watching follow you? How do they support you and the work that you do with the symphony?
Oh my gosh. My Instagram is at Nicha Stap. I I don't know if I post anything worthy of a follow.
you just some personal stuff that you got going on, and then some
Yeah,
symphony
just
stuff.
like
It's all good.
personal things, some work things. If you want to follow at Indie Symphony and at ISO_education, that's where all our programming stuff happens. Yeah, you can see some behind the scenes, some fun education things that I do.
All
Yeah.
right. Wait, one more. I actually do have one follow-up to that. Any
Okay.
events coming up in the back half of 2024 that you want people to know about?
Ooh, we're sort of winding down currently, but the new season will begin in September. Oh, we have a summer season at Symphony on the Prairie, so check that out. The education programming won't start again until September, but yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Nicha, thank you so much for doing this, for coming on and sharing everything that you shared.
Thank you.
We're going to have to do a part 2 on that question we had you thinking deeper about.
Yes.
All right. For everybody else
Thank
out
you.
there, you know you can catch episodes every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at Conversation Pod Piece. Check out the website, conversationpeacepod.com, for all the archives and everything else that we got going on there. We got a newsletter that goes out every Monday, so you can find that on the website as well. Working on merch. Shout out to Mike Lee behind the cameras. Shout out to J.O. and Popular Rapture on the mics. Shout out to Stretch for being a great audience member. And shout out to you for being an amazing guest. We got a lot of really cool stuff kicking off in June. Some wonderful conversations just like this one. But until then, I have been Patrick Armstrong. This has been Conversation Piece, and we'll see y'all soon.